Hello, my name is Brad. Welcome to my budgeting channel. I work in the service sector and I use simple tools such as a calendar, paper and pen, and envelopes. So I use digital envelopes, but the same things that I'm doing can be done using physical envelopes and physical paper. You'll see that I use Excel during the filming of these videos because it's easier to film, but I don't use any of the formulas. In today's video, we'll go through my second paycheck for the month of March, and also we'll take a look at the bills that I was able to pay before the paycheck came through, and we'll set up for the expenses and the bills for this coming pay period. Enjoy! Alright, starting with the bills from last pay period, I want to take a look first at Care Credit and add the amount that was paid out of the Care Credit envelope or the Care Credit cube and the date. So we had that at $194 even, and it was paid on the 11th of March. And next we have Midco, which is electricity, and that was paid on the 12th of March. And in both cases, for both Care Credit and Midco, I only had enough money in the envelopes to cover the bill. But as you see here with Netflix, I had put in $8.58 and I only needed to pay $8.49. And so there's going to be a difference there, which means that I'll end the pay period having a balance in that envelope. So my balance, unlike Care Credit and Midco where the balance is zero, I'm taking $8.58 minus the actual amount that I paid, $8.49, and the balance is now 9 cents. So I should have 9 cents in that envelope. And then State Farm, that was the same amount that I had planned it to be, and that was paid on the 18th, so the balance is zero on all of those. Now all of the other bills that I didn't have to pay during this pay period, whatever the money was from the beginning balance plus the amount that I funded into the envelopes equaled the totals at the end. Alright, now that the bills have been recorded from my last pay period, we'll go to the current pay period. So I did have a rollover in my brick and mortar account, and then I had this amount for my wages and overtime, and so we'll take those two numbers and add them together on my calculator, and that means that my income including the rollover is a total of $343.53. That's what I have to work with. And so for my expenses, this time around I decided to take $20 out in cash for my wallet, $20 for laundry, which is 2 rolls of quarters, and this time around transferring over to cubes, I decided to go with $203. So this added together on my calculator should be 243. Yes, 243. So if I take 343.53 minus the 243, I should have at least $100, and that was my goal, is to have $100 rollover money, and the rest can live over in the cubes. $100.53. That worked out just fine, just like I wanted. Now moving down to the cubes, which is my digital envelope system, I put in the rest of the wages and overtime from my paycheck, and then the transferring from the brick and mortar bank, that was that $203. So we've got $1,229 plus the 203, and I'll use the calculator to come up with what my total income is over that lives over in the cubes in the digital envelopes. So if you take 1229 and 203, it would be 1432. That's what I have to work with here. if you see in my overview, I have an unallocated funds amount of 1432, which matches the amount that I have in my cubes for income. Then moving down to tithes and offerings, I put 150 in, and so the total is 150. I can take my calculator and take 1432 minus 150, and that should be the money that I have remaining, which is 1282. And here I'm showing in my cubes, my tithes and offerings cubes, I'm taking 150 from the unallocated funds, putting it into the tithes and offerings cube. And so now it updates the totals. So now that my unallocated funds is there, it should be 1282, which matches what I have remaining, and that's how it'll work for all of the cubes going forward. Now my bills, I've already decided ahead of time what the amount would be for the bills, and that was taking all the bills together, and that's $764. So if you take 764 from that 1282, then I'll have a new remaining amount of $518 left. So let's take a look at bills. We've got all the bills listed here, and I added them all up and it came to 764, which is the same amount that I put in to the cubes on my worksheet there. I've highlighted in white those bills that will come out of this paycheck, and then the ones that are gray, I do not have to pay out of this paycheck. So I'm going to fill those in. We've got rent, Patreon, Commerce Bank, and I'm just double checking as I go, making sure that the math looks right. So rent, I had $385 to start, and I'm putting $320 in. So does that equal, or is it greater than $695? Yes, it is. So I've got enough money in there. So just keep doing, filling in the amounts that are due for these other bills until I have them all filled in. This shows that I'm saving money by putting a little bit aside every single paycheck, because my outgoing bills that I'm paying out is more expensive, more money than the amount that I'm funding just from this one paycheck. So I'm funding $764, but I'm paying out $995.58. So that would be a deficit normally, but I don't have to worry about the deficit because I already had a beginning balance, and so I've got the money to take care of those bills. All right, moving on into the worksheet, the next thing is expenses, and I've decided this time around I'm going to put $200 aside for groceries and for dining out and fast food. I've decided to put aside $50, and for gas for the car, that'll be $30, and household items will be $40. Now take my calculator and add those numbers together. So that comes to 320. Then I take my remaining amount from the last category, 518 minus 320. And now my new remaining amount is 198. And the savings category, we've got 12 by 26, which is always $12. Then there's the dice category, and I have a new website that I found when I typed in random number generator. There's actually a random dice generator. So let's roll the dice a couple times. We've got an 8 and a 7. So let's add those two together. 8 plus 7 is 15. That'll be my dice challenge for this time around. $15. And then the 51 envelopes, we'll figure that out. I know that I want to put $80 in sinking funds, so I want the remaining to be $80. And so let's take that 198 that's remaining that we know of minus the $80, of course, for the sinking fund, minus the 12 minus the 15. So that means I've got $91 that I can use for the 51 envelopes. And then just to double check my work, take the $12 and the 15 and the 91, and that should equal 118. If you take 198, which was my remaining amount from before, and you take that minus 118, it should equal 80. Good. It equals 80. That's how much I want to put in sinking funds. And so my remaining is 0, which means that we're at a 0 base budget. All right, let's take a look at our savings challenges. The dice we said was $15. And I'll put today's date, or the date of the paycheck. The 12 by 26, that's $12. And then 51 envelopes we said was $91. So I'm going to fill in a few of the blank spots. Just double checking. Yes, it says $91 there. So we'll do the 51. So 91 minus 51, that means I got $40 left to fill in. And I want to fill in a couple of the spots that are sort of towards the middle of my list. So let's do 16. And that means my last one should be 24. And 24 is empty, so I'll go ahead and use it. So we're getting some of these envelopes filled in. And I'm just going to change the color of the shading there. If I was doing this on paper, I would just either use a color to fill these in, or just have the date on there and not have any colors on it. So we're at my sinking funds, and 80 is my base. So I always want the dated bills to be these numbers for my bills that I pay once a year. My variable spending, I basically always want here to be the same too. Prescriptions 30, haircut 5. Then I have $10 left, so it goes into the oil and lube category. And I don't have any more money left, so that has to be the end of it. The last thing I'll do is fill in some of the dates and put check marks in the ones that I have funded already, and that'll help me get a good visual of what's left to fund, what's left to pay, that sort of thing. So that way throughout the next 2 weeks, I can just take a glance at these sheets and I'll know right away what hasn't been paid so far. Now over here on the bills, I can carry over these balances that haven't been paid and that won't be paid out of this paycheck, and then that'll help with a visual too. Then as these other bills get paid little by little throughout the month, I can carry over the new balance. I can put the little check mark in the funded or in the paid category, and it should be fine. And then these guys, as soon as I fund them in my Qube app, I'll put a little X in the funded category or in the funded column, and then I'll put the date in that they went into the Qube app.
If you've made it this far throughout the video, thank you so much for watching. If this is the type of content that you like and appreciate seeing online, please give a like and comment below. If you would like to see further videos of this type, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification button so you won't miss further videos. Thanks for watching and God bless. Goodbye.